Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to discuss the film I Am Number 4. Now, I didn't have a lot of hope for this film, but I picked it up cheap on Blu-ray for $2. So I'm like, for $2, I'm going to watch it and see how it turns out. Now, I believe this is based off of a novel. I haven't researched that, but it is kind of the classic alien invasion hidden from the public eye kind of thing. So almost a little bit X-Files thrown in there. Like the public is not aware that there are aliens on our world. And surprise, surprise, the protagonist aliens look like you and me. And yes, there are going to be spoilers here. Be aware of that. So the protagonist aliens and our main alien is our main character is his name changes. He looks like a generic white boy with great abs, which he shows off repeatedly. And he's the same actor that played the main character in the movie Beastly, which was not great. Um, and it starts out as this very generic beach video. It could have been the intro to any of a dozen different films. Okay, so it's this. You're like, whoa, this is just a guys kind of goofing off on the beach, going after women, looking for high school dates. Like they're all like the summer between junior and senior year. Okay, that's the vibe you're getting here. And first of all, it hit me almost immediately. This is a very white movie, and in fact, I cannot remember a single speaking minority person in the film. And I don't remember any minorities even in crowd scenes. It was just really white, so white it was painful. And eventually the film moved from the beach zone to a place called Paradise, Ohio, which apparently is the whitest spot on the entire continent. So maybe that's what makes it a paradise for the white supremacists. I'm not sure. But it was so white, it was out of place. It was whiter than you're pretty much going to find anywhere in America. And this is set in America. So that was a shocking decision in my book. I'm like, why is this so white? I don't understand. But it was so white. So white. And both my wife and I are like, okay. Then that's the science fiction stuff kicked in. And it was jarring. It was like, there was no ramping up to the stuff. No, it was boom, and we're off. And once it got into the science fiction elements, it cruised at a nice science fiction film level. Okay, it wasn't bad after that. But the transition from generic white people on the beach and a little bit escaping from the beach because they were their identities had been revealed somehow. They have to remain under the radar all the time. Was very abrupt. And when they're escaping, they're like erasing their presence in this beach zone, and they're moving to Paradise, Ohio. They start to burn all their possessions, pictures and things like this, and so they're making a clean break. And they threw a license plate into a bonfire. This is a standard bonfire, the kind of bonfire that you could build on a beach out of just wood. Guess what, folks? That's not going to burn a license plate. It could conceivably burn off some of the paint, but not all of the paint. And it's not going to touch the embossed metal. So yes, fail. Even though later we see that the plate was almost completely burned, but someone smells it to help track them. Something that's been in a fire. I'm sorry. You tell me it's a psychic power, cool, I'll buy it. But there's no way any organic sense of smell picked up anything from this other than the fact, yeah, this isn't a fire. The bad guys don't quite look like humans. They're kind of rejected Voldemort doubles, stand-ins. And not only do they have a kind of a nose, but they got these slits here, which I guess means they can smell really well. They're essentially humanoid sharks. They got sharp teeth, and they smell they track with their nose, and they've all, they're faster and stronger and tougher than humans. Um, and as we go along, we realize that the main character has a guardian who's an alien as well, but doesn't have the special powers that this kid has. And he knows he's number 4 because 3 others of the aliens that are on this Earth, there were a total of 9, have been killed. And for some reason, the aliens are killing them in order. Now, if you just said 3 of my brethren or sisterin or whatever, 3 of my racial siblings have been killed, okay, man, I get it. 3 of your siblings are gone. You have my sympathy. But if you tell me I know somehow that numbers 1, 2, and 3 have been killed, and these aliens are pleasantly coming after number 4 next, that makes no sense. Now, something else that makes no sense to me, well, first of all, intergalactic invasions and war make 0 sense. 0! I've covered that before. Resources are everywhere in the galaxy. Much easier to get them from asteroids and comets and crap. Don't have to dig them out of a gravity well like our planet. So that makes no sense. And the whole, we must just eradicate all their life except ourselves, that's also bullshit. There is so much space. There's plenty of room for everybody to get along. And most importantly, there's plenty of space for everyone to escape from each other. Now imagine you were trying to get away from a bad dude. Would you get away faster in a car or on foot? Well, obviously, a car. And would you get away even faster in a plane or a copter rather than a car or on foot? Heck yeah! A plane or a copter, you're gone. They are never going to lay a hand on you until you land down somewhere else and maybe start making yourself known because you're now inside of a city or something. But think how much further you could get if you were in a spaceship. Why touch down at all? And why not just get 9 spaceships headed in all different directions until some point where you decide you have to start communicating again? And speaking of that, they've got computer technology which allows them to just delete pictures from other people's servers, but they could be stymied by someone's firewall? These folks probably have quantum computers and you can't get around our crap? Yeah, it was dumb. It was just too many clumsy narrative tools. Eventually, our protagonist starts to acquire all kinds of special powers because he's one of the golden children, very Caucasian golden children. We get a little hint that there's another one of these people out there. She's Australian. She eventually makes herself known. And again, really white person. Her set of powers are a little different, which is nice. They're not all the same. It was kind of nice. They called them, what they called them? Inheritances? No. Something like that. But yeah, they, from their, their particular genetic lines, maybe, family lines, or it could be completely random, kind of each one's a new mutant kind of thing. So once the alien stuff gets going, it's okay. The CGI monsters they have there, not so hot. But a lot of the stunt work, some of which looked very practical, was well done. But yeah, there was just so many glaring mistakes in this that made no sense. But they were all there because we want the audience for this, the tweens and the teenagers that are supposed to be projecting themselves into this, mostly men, want to be able to see themselves in this and don't want to be worried about the fact that in any kind of logic, they would have never landed on Earth. They'd be long gone, and the bad guys would never find them. All right? No, we need the bad guys. We need the conflict because, as the old saying goes, without conflict, you don't have a story. And yes, I guess I'm constantly harping on the fact that if you apply logic and reason to most science fiction and fantasy and films like this, particularly when you're completely mobile like an alien, the story disappears. It just vanishes. There is no story because there is no conflict. So I Am Number 4 is not a horrible film. It's really aimed at a younger audience that maybe not see these glaring holes in it. All the people are pretty. Yeah, that's nice. The aliens are kind of ugly. They're mean and nasty for the sake of being mean and nasty because they're bad guys. The CGI work wasn't horrible. They had a couple of different monsters in it, which were nice. And when people die in this, they turn into dust and they evaporate into like smoke. Very convenient. No evidence behind. You get some conspiracy theory stuff going on. very, X-Files kind of thing. So you like that? That's thrown in there too. So yeah, not a horrible film. So if you're into this kind of stuff, you might want to watch it. If you like the guy who did the main character in Beastly, this is a film you're going to want to probably watch. But it's very predictable. That it hits all the tropes. It's not logical or sense making or reasonable in any way, and it's just so incredibly white.